Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and it's been a couple of days, so I gotta ask, everybody good? You guys doing all right? Is your family okay? How's work going? You know, for me personally, everything's been going pretty good, but I'll tell you what, a big reason why there's like this gap in between my uploads is there is nothing going on within the Call of Duty franchise right now. Like, I think Activision may have royally messed up, and I can't be the only person that feels this way. Black Ops 7 comes out in like 10 days, and the hype appears to be in the toilet, man. Like, no real marketing, nobody's talking about the game, there's no excitement. It's actually just kind of crazy. Content creators don't seem to care. Social media is pretty much dead. Nobody on Twitter or Reddit or hell, even places like TikTok, you know, it seems like nobody is genuinely excited about Black Ops 7. I bet a lot of you forgot it actually comes out in 10 days time. And I think that's exactly what happens when you treat your community as terribly as what they've been doing for the past couple of years. Activision may have actually messed up so terribly with Black Ops 6 that they may have already doomed Black Ops 7. And we're already seeing the results of this within our own little COD YouTube community here. If you guys haven't heard, recently a couple of big creators have quit, and we're going to be covering that later on here. But looking back at Black Ops 6, despite all the positive changes that game made, some really good features, rad and everything, it seems like that game truly burned out the COD community. It somehow feels like Black Ops 6 came out like 5 years ago. Do you guys feel the same way? Like, this entire year has drug on and on and on. There was no real updates whatsoever. There was no communication. Treyarch basically just put their backs to the community and just ignored us the entire year. And truth be told, I have like maybe 30 hours played in Black Ops 6 since like last December, you know, and a big part of that, of course, was the matchmaking, which they are addressing with Black Ops 7, but even then, the colossal failure that was Black Ops 6, which we have been covering throughout the entirety of this year, I think it's really done some irreparable harm to not only Treyarch, but Call of Duty as a whole. I think this might be what also happens when Call of Duty actually has competition for a change, because instead of people just, you know, like waiting with bated breath for the next Call of Duty game, instead they're playing Battlefield, instead they're playing Arc Raiders. Like, Activision does such a horrible job with Black Ops 6 that Black Ops 7, even though they're making a lot of positive changes with that game, it may have all been for naught, because right now anyway, Black Ops 7 does not have the kind of traction that Activision was hoping for, especially in a year like this where they have so much competition. I also think it was a terrible idea, of course, for them going back to back, or I suppose black to Black Ops, you know, because without that change in tone and narrative and design philosophy and overall just vibe of the game, Black Ops 7 is going to feel a lot more like a DLC to Black Ops 6. It is going to be futuristic, there will be wall jumping, but we saw something similar to this happen recently with Modern Warfare 3. Even though that game, the more recent MW3, I feel like it was probably one of, if not the best game of like the skill-based matchmaking Warzone era, it didn't matter. You know, ultimately sales were pretty terrible, interest was low, and Sledgehammer Games, to their credit, they tried their best, but sometimes you just get dealt a bad hand and there really isn't anything you can do. The difference this time around, however, is Treyarch did it to themselves. Like, they shot themselves in the foot here. According to the devs in their interviews, they told Activision they wanted to do back-to-back Black Ops games, and they even co-developed the two alongside each other, which further annoys hardcore fans like you and I, because that means all the selling points, quote-unquote, of Black Ops 7 were intentionally held out of Black Ops 6. Like, it's a situation of them creating problems to then later sell us a solution, and the average COD fan is a lot smarter now than they were, you know, 5 years ago, for example, right? We're on to you, Activision. We know what's going on. They follow the news. They follow the drama. They know what's happening behind the scenes. Like, the curtain has been pulled back entirely. Fans know what is going on, and that is further leading to yet more burnout from the community. What I want to do here today, however, is go over like a week, maybe 2 weeks worth of pre-launch news and marketing, because once again, each thing on their own is really no big deal. It's barely anything, but when you combine them all together, it at least makes it sound like they plan to do something with Black Ops 7 to at least try to help it compete with games like Battlefield 6 and Arc Raiders. So let's go ahead and see what they plan on doing here. So a couple of days ago, Treyarch posted yet another one of those dev talk videos to Twitter, and I'm just saying, like, if your main source of like advertising for your game is like videos on Twitter, then you're definitely messing up, right? Like, that's their only marketing right now, aside from the other marketing campaign, which would be the replacer trailers you might have seen on like Sunday Night Football. But even those, they really seem to be failing, man. And I'm not trying to be like super negative about it here, but just objectively, you guys know when like the Super Bowl is on, you know, and they have those really funny commercials, really good commercials that come on, and then people later, they go and watch those commercials again online. Like, hell, myself, I'm sure some of you guys may have done this as well, but every now and then I'll get that nostalgia bug and I'll just go watch like old commercials from like the 90s or 2000s. I'm not even sure why. It's like this weird like nostalgia trip for me, but I enjoy doing that, but nobody is doing that with Black Ops 7. The commercial where they shot Jake Paul into outer space has like 8 million views. That one did pretty good, but the rest of the trailers here, man, they do worse than my stupid little YouTube videos here, and they even got people like Terry Crews, other paid actors, they have sets and directors and scripts and music licensing, like the whole 9 yards, ads, and they're getting like 15,000 views on these things, man. Like, nobody actually cares about the replacer ads, it would appear, which I think is partly contributing to the lack of Black Ops 7 hype. Like, we don't have proper marketing here. Nobody's actually getting really truly excited about the upcoming game. But to get back to things here, we have that dev talk video, and in here it's like 4, maybe 5 minutes long. They go over a number of little things, so I'm going to save us all some time and just bullet point the entire thing. And honestly, some of these changes are pretty good. Like, you guys may actually enjoy this. So, weapon leveling is going to be faster in Black Ops 7 than what we saw in the beta, and it's apparently also going to be faster than what we had in Black Ops 6 as a whole. So that objectively seems like a pretty good change. From there, they're also going to be removing the Dark Matter final challenge that you had to do in Black Ops 6. So for those of you who actually got Dark Matter and did those challenges, you'll remember it was really frustrating. You did all these challenges, you went through this whole grind, and then at the very end, they're like, oh, no, one more thing. You don't actually get the camo until you get a bunch of 5 kill streaks with the gun, right? So you had to go through like each individual gun in the game and do these extra challenges on top of all the other stuff you already previously did. It was just like, dude, give me my camo. I've been grinding stakeout so much that my eyes are bleeding at this point, and now you want me to go get 5 kill streaks with a freaking DMR or something like that? Like, it's stupid. It was a really dumb idea. They got rid of that, which again is a pretty positive change. On top of that, prestige rewards are of course returning, and they have teased us the first prestige skin as well as the blueprint that you'll be getting. And to me, it looks kind of meh. Like, it's okay. It's not really that amazing or anything, but then again, it's gonna be really hard for them to top something like the Nocturne and Totem zombie and the Tommy gun blueprint that we had in Black Ops 6, man. Those things were freaking awesome for old school players, even newer players alike. They just looked really cool. It was really unique. It kind of harkened back to like the true beginning of the Black Ops universe, which was World at War, which a lot of people forget that. But yeah, World at War started the entire thing. So that was really cool. And we're going to have to wait and see what other rewards they may have for Black Ops 7. But from there, Prestige Master is also going to be changing. So once you hit Prestige Master in this game, you're going to get access to new challenges. And for doing those challenges, you will unlock titles, which is kind of new to the COD franchise. So these titles are going to replace the words Prestige Master in the menu and be visible to other players as well. So it's a nice little addition. I mean, they're kind of generic things like Gunfighter and stuff like that, but I imagine there's gonna be some like really cool ones that are really hard to get, and maybe people want to grind for those. So that could be potentially pretty good. And then on top of that, they're also gonna, it sounds kind of crazy, but they're also gonna make it so you can change the color of your rank, which seems like such a basic idea, you know, but it's also sort of reminiscent of the old clan tags that we had back in World at War. So again, they're kind of like harkening back to the old days there, which is good. I mean, Call of Duty has done a really terrible job of like falling back on history outside of remastering the same like 2 or 3 maps every single year. So remembering that something like World at War existed, for example, is a pretty good thing. And hopefully the devs, while looking back at those older games, can kind of figure out why those games were so amazing in the first place and implement more of those ideas into the newer games as compared to the slop that we've been getting in recent years. Now, after that, they also teased that some secret camos are going to be earnable in the game. So probably from Dark Ops challenges or maybe zombies Easter eggs, I'm not entirely sure. But then we have menu themes to wrap things up here. And while they didn't show too much, they did show us at least one theme for zombies, which is on your screen right now. And it's kind of interesting, right? You can use this apparently in campaign, multiplayer, zombies, Warzone, wherever you want. And there's going to be a bunch of other themes in the game as well. So it's just, I guess it's like an extra bit of customization to your HUD, kind of something to make the game look a bit more fresh, a bit more interesting. Of course, the HUD has always been one of the big problems with Black Ops over the past couple of years. So it'll be interesting to see what fans actually do with this and how many different customization options there will be and everything. But ultimately, with the old dev talk video out of the way now, the big question to get back to it is, will any of this actually matter? I mean, Black Ops 7, from the outside looking in, it seems like an entire game designed to listen to the fans after they neglected those same fans for over half a decade. I mean, for crying out loud, they got rid of skill-based matchmaking, or at least are claiming that they're getting rid of skill-based matchmaking, and everything that they marketed and they've claimed so far basically boils down to, we finally hear you, we're finally listening, we're finally going to be making changes. But it's not because they care, man. It's because of Battlefield 6 and Arc Raiders and dismal pre-order numbers. It sort of feels like this toxic relationship, honestly, which I think a lot of people have made that comparison over the years, that Call of Duty fans are in a very toxic relationship with Activision, but it seems like they treat us like shit for years. We finally called them out, the community threatened to leave, and they started packing their bags, and then Call of Duty's like, baby, don't leave me now, I can change, please give me another chance. But even with their change of behavior, fans aren't forgetting how terribly they were treated in the past, right? It almost seems like a situation of too little too late, even though Black Ops 7 is mostly what a lot of us have been asking for. And it's honestly going to be really interesting to see what the launch numbers are going to be like, because I'll tell you guys right now, the current numbers are some of the worst I think that we have ever seen. So tying into what I've been saying about the hype just not being there for Black Ops 7, a very important Call of Duty tradition is just not happening this year, or at the very least, it doesn't seem like it's happening, right? Remember the old days, like jumping on Black Ops 1 when it was almost time for Black Ops 2 to come out, or maybe going back to the OG Modern Warfare 2 to get ready for Modern Warfare 3? Like, it was like this annual tradition that COD fans did every single year, but they're not doing it this time around because we just had an entire year of Black Ops, right? And it feels like everybody just quit Black Ops 6, and they might come back for the launch of Black Ops 7, even though they haven't played the game probably for months and months. But if we check out Steam right now, look at these numbers, man, like 35,000 players. That is downright horrendous. And look, I understand we're at the end of the Black Ops 6 life cycle. Like, the game is like 11 months old. It's obviously not going to be blowing up, but I would expect at least a little bit of an increase in player numbers when we're 1 week away from the new freaking game, right? You would think a lot of people would be coming back to Black Ops 6 like, oh shit, Black Ops 7 is coming. Let's go get ready. I haven't played COD in months. Let's see what they added to the game, you know? Nobody is seemingly doing that, and the Circana numbers are telling a similar story. Call of Duty is now firmly behind Fortnite, partly probably due to that Simpsons season. Like, I'm not a big Fortnite person, but I love the Simpsons, and yeah, that season's actually pretty freaking cool. But getting back to it, Battlefield 6 is continuing to rise in spite of its severe lack of bug fixes and updates, which I will be covering in a separate video. Like, I love Battlefield, don't get me wrong, but enough is enough. What are these devs actually doing right now? But to quote the storyteller, that's a story for another day, but I got a lot I want to talk about when it comes to Battlefield 6. But to wrap up this relatively quick video here today, I want to say this. I will be giving Black Ops 7 a proper go. Hell, I have Game Pass. The game is literally free, and to Activision's credit, they have been making a ton of positive changes to the game, like genuinely good updates, and finally listening to the community. But looking at this objectively, almost like a journalist, you know, which obviously I'm not a journalist, I just talk about video games on the internet, but trying to remove myself from everything and just take the pulse of the player base, it seems like the hype for Black Ops 7 is incredibly low, and that's due to a number of factors. Obviously, there's a lot of competition in the gaming space right now, but I'm sure the game is going to sell well. But the question is, how well is it going to sell? You know, how will multiplayer fans feel? How will zombies fans feel? Warzone fans? Well, it seems like they're probably just going to be pissed off either way because they've been getting shafted for a while, so much so that we're actually seeing changes within the online community here. I'm not sure if you guys heard this, but Exclusive Ace quit making Call of Duty videos on his main channel, which is freaking crazy. He grew that channel to almost 1 million subscribers solely off of Call of Duty, but in his words, Call of Duty is not growing. It's an overwhelmingly negative game. The community is seemingly never happy. The devs don't work for the player base whatsoever. The games are usually a mess, and basically, Call of Duty is stagnating, right? So he moved full-time over to Battlefield. He did make a second channel to continue making some COD videos on, which is crazy to me, though. Like, he grew everything on COD, and he's like, you know what? COD sucks now. I'm going Battlefield. I'll still do some COD stuff, but that's going to be on a second channel, you know? Just, it's a complete shift in his own content, you know, which is actually pretty brave and also pretty crazy. Something similar is happening to JGod. He announced a couple of weeks ago that he's basically transitioning from Warzone content to multiplayer content because apparently Warzone is just so stagnant now and nothing is ever going on with it whatsoever. So that's a huge shift for him. Marksman, I'm pretty sure, barely ever plays Call of Duty anymore. And I don't want to be that guy here, but people like myself and Blame Truth have been right about all of this for a very long time. Call of Duty truly has been messing up for years and years. It wasn't just rage bait. It wasn't being negative for the sake of being negative or anything like that. Like, there were some true core problems here with the Call of Duty franchise, and I've been calling this bullshit out the entire time. I've repeated in countless videos that eventually everything was going to come to a pass, man. Like, their model of exploiting and manipulating fans was not going to work forever, and it seems that right now anyway, we are seeing the results of that. Like, content creators are moving on. The hype for Black Ops 7 is basically in the toilet. Nobody's actually talking about the game. No one's excited about the game. There's actually competition for a change. Like, if I'm Activision, I'm shitting in my britches right now, dude. Like, straight up. Like, I'm worried if I'm Activision because Call of Duty does not just get by on being too big to fail anymore. You know, right now they may actually be failing, and it will be interesting to see where we go from here. Again, things could change here when we're like a day or two away from the launch of Black Ops 7. Of course, Activision will be paying a ton of streamers and content creators, basically everybody, just to cover the game and hype it up like it's the whole second coming of Christ and everything. And as always, I'll be here to you guys every step of the way. But for right now, I'm going to wrap this video up here today. Activision, I'm going to say it one more time. You done messed up. I've been telling you for years, if you only listened all of these years, you would not be in the situation that you are in when you're finally facing the consequences of your own actions. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this video here today. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts and feedback on all of this down there in the comment section below. Be sure to sub to the channel if you're new around here. Thank you all so much for listening. And until next time, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.